Hey, 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 what's up? It's your girl, Philly Cigar John.
And your guy Chief, bringing you another episode of Sticks, Brims, and Stilettos. So you know what time it is. Grab your glasses and your sticks, and let's get ready to smoke
Another hot topic. So, welcome back, family, friends, and foes. I got to start off by saying last week we got a lot of conversation going around our last show. So, for those of you who did not watch the show last week, we talked a lot about what's going on in Hollywood, specifically Black Hollywood. So, we talked a lot about. We went from Oprah to TD Jakes to
P. Diddy.
So it's a lot going on right now in Hollywood.
There's a lot going on in Hollywood, and we're going to dig into some more hot topics today.
Absolutely.
And right now, we're going to pause real quick to give recognition to our sponsor, Huck Spirits. Log on to www.huckspirits.com. Get the special that he's running right now, and be sure to put in your code SBS. That's huckspirits.com. So, Philly, let's get into
Chief. It. Well, before we get into it, I'm loving this camo look with the hat there. So, looking pretty sharp today.
And I'm loving the orange and the black.
Oh yeah, I got my Halloween colors on today. I know I'm extra early or a little late.
Orange is definitely the new black in my territory today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You look like you want to be hunted.
Oh, I want to be honey. I don't look like a pumpkin.
Hey, listen, that's why I came on set dressed like a hunter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So listen, like I said last week, we focused a lot on, Black Hollywood. So what prompted me to bring up this topic today, I was out to dinner the other day with some family members, and we were talking, and I gotta tell you, this dating environment it's a lot of pee in the water. I have to go there. And one thing I can say, two things I'm really happy about. One, I'm happy that I'm in a loving, committed relationship. And two, I'm glad I'm not a damn man who's single, because I'm telling you, the demands today that some of these women put on the men, it's just crazy.
Due to the fact that men make my ass itch, I have decided that I am single, celibate, and no longer willing to date anyone. However, if you insist on taking me on a date, there will be a $500 fee. Okay. I'll send you my phone number and you can send the motherfucking funds. Then we can discuss an arrangement. However, if you decide that you're going to text me or call me before you send the motherfucking funds, you will be blocked.
The demands today that some of the men allow women to put on them.
Hallelujah. There you go. So we were talking about, we got on a topic about one young lady, and I'm going to be frank, a lot of women out here, they getting their bodies done, and, that's what they lead with. That's their only assets. They like to lead with the booty and this and that, and they think, that, oh my God, I am the prize. No, let me tell you something. Today, those bodies are a dime a dozen. Because so many women are getting them. You can walk into the doctor's office, look like SpongeBob, and come out Jessica Rabbit. Okay, so let's be clear. The body thing ain't the end all be all.
Wait a minute, time out.
What? You heard what I said?
Did you just say you walk in the doctor's office looking like SpongeBob?
Yes, and coming out looking like Jessica Rabbit.
Wow.
So if you leading with that, and if that's the only thing you have,
oh my goodness,
come on, yo. I mean that, so a real man, like I said, and in the conversation, yeah, that's cute. That may capture the attention, the initial attention of a man, but will it keep it? How's your heart? How's your brain? How's your soul? How's your spirit? Are you caring? Are you giving? Are you loving? Are you supportive? Will you be that teammate?
Wow.
So those are things that a lot of these women, you can't buy that.
But it's important because the things you just named those are constants.
Absolutely.
The body changes.
Absolutely.
And I don't, maybe some people make the decision to keep going back every 5 or 6 years and, renewing whatever they had done to their body.
Right.
But the things that you just named are important because those should be constants, with maybe slight variations, but your soul, your spirit, your ability to nurture a relationship, your ability to communicate.
Absolutely.
Your ability to have both self-respect and respect for your mate.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget just having ordinary sense. You know what I mean? Because you don't necessarily have to be an academic and have, all of that other, stuff. I mean, that helps. That's nice. But yeah, what happens? What's going on beyond the body? What's going on beyond the good looks? Beyond whatever a person. But listen, let's not leave men out because I've seen inside of athletic sportsmen's magazines, lifestyle
They're
magazines.
getting it done too.
Yeah, men go get their pecs done and
the calves, biceps. Liposuction too.
Liposuction.
And some of them are getting the booties too. You have men absolutely are getting the Brazilian butt lifts. Absolutely.
Come on now.
I lie to you not. I lie to you not.
That
is a growing trend.
Are you talking about men who seek to be shaped like women, or are you just talking about?
No, you have men who are supposedly straight men who are getting the Brazilian butt lifts. They want to get a tight, not saying they want a big bubble butt, but they want a nice, tight muscle butt. So I lie to you not. They're going to get the Brazilian butt lift. They're taking it from, other areas of their body and they're reshaping their butt. So it's not just women out there.
Wow.
There are men out there too who's under the knife and reshaping that booty.
So I would imagine, because all of this deals with aesthetics.
Yes.
So I would imagine that maybe there's a market where women want men with whatever type of
Hey, I ain't opposed to a nice booty now. Nice tight. That's why nice tight booty is nice to look. Men, let me tell y'all something. So I know y'all know this, but listen, women like eye candy too. We like the big arms. We like some thick legs. We like a nice little firm behind on a man. Like we look at men, believe it or not, the same way men look at women. We want to have some eye candy too when it comes to the body, and I'm not sure if you heard about the young man. It was a black guy. I think he is one of just several men in the world now who have had the operation to extend his height.
I think I did see something. He had his legs broken or something like that.
Yes, and I believe he went overseas to get it done. But yes, he extended his height. And he's still going through the healing process because it's a long process. When they did something with his leg, they cracked his bones, extended it, put extenders in, and it has to, mesh now into his actual bone to make him taller. So that's a new trend that's out there.
Wow.
Yeah, increasing height for men.
Okay.
So another thing, we talk about the single women and the demands, first of all, leading with their bodies, I think that's the end all be all. And then the demands that they put on these men who wants to date them. And another thing is I wanted to jump into, let's talk about the different types of relationships that these women are requiring. Because you have some women that only date specific men.
What is that? What do you mean?
So when I say
men that have a certain look?
Not let's go beyond the looks. What about a certain situation? You have women who strictly just date married men. You have women.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and some women may ask, well, why would you want to do that? Listen, back in my blogging days, yes, I used to be a blogger about 10 years ago. I actually wrote a article on women who only date married men, and some women do it for different reasons. So some of the reasons, from my observation is one, you have a woman who may not be ready for a commitment, but they want all the niceties and all the benefits of being in a relationship. So that's why they go solely for the married man. Because what typically a married man does with a mistress is that man's outlet. So that's his peace, right?
Yeah.
So when he's with that woman, he's going to treat that woman. Why are you laughing?
When you said that's his piece, I guess that can have multiple meanings. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, really, because typically men cheat for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say that. Some men just cheat just to cheat. But when you're in a full-fledged external relationship outside of your marriage, is normally because that situation is bringing you peace. That is your comfort zone. So when you're in that space with that woman, you are going to do everything to make her happy and to make you happy. That's where the many trips come in to play. That's where the whining and dining, the mind-blowing sex come into play. And who is truly reaping all of the benefits? The mistress, right? So if you're a woman who craves attention and want that attention and want to be adored by a man, and you're not really ready for a commitment, that's a sweet spot for that woman.
Well, if the man wants to be with that woman, then in terms of having an extramarital relationship, he's also reaping some benefits. I mean, because he's spending the time, whatever he's getting from the mistress that he feels like he's not getting from home, he's still reaping some benefits. Now, the person who may not be reaping the happiest or most exciting and fun benefits might be the wife.
That's true.
The
But guess
mistress
what?
might be getting treated better than the wife.
And 9 times out of 10, that is the case. But guess what? He is paying for that happiness in more ways than one.
Yeah, he is.
Because you heard about the latest, I forget the young lady's name, the blogger who discovered her husband was cheating. She found him at the airport. What she discovered when she called in to ask when her husband's flight was going to come in, and the rep said, "Oh, they're coming in." And she was like, "What do you mean they're coming in? I'm talking about my husband. Why you keep bringing up this other woman?" And that was the start of the unraveling of her 20-plus year marriage to her husband.
So somebody at the airport snitched on her husband.
Pretty much when she called. Absolutely. Now, I don't know if he's still working for that airport, but yeah, he gave out much more information than what she was asking for. But that was the start of her really understanding that her marriage was over. And she approached her husband several times. And you know how they act, women. What you talking about? I don't know her. He denied it and denied it and denied it and denied it until one day, I guess she just broke him down and he finally admitted, yeah, you know what? And I'm relieved because now you know.
Wow.
Yeah, now you know. It was all over TikTok, social media.
I think I'm pretty familiar with that. Probably about a year ago, I might have saw something.
Yeah, he was taking flights. They were going to Europe. They were flying here and there.
Is this the one where she checked some credit cards? She normally doesn't
doesn't
check credit cards, but she decided to check.
Yep.
And she saw this woman's name all over the credit card statement. And she saw all these trips all over the credit card statement.
Yep. And the start of that is when she called the airline just to see when his flight was coming in. And the rep told her they're coming in.
So here's where, for me, there's some, I don't know, it's inconsistencies in terms of saying a woman like that doesn't want a committed situation. If you're all over another woman's and her husband's credit card and you're flying all over the place, you're spending a lot of time with this guy, and you are, traveling and being wined and dined. Come on, I mean, I'm not trying to have the play on words or semantics, but you are committed to spending the time with this man that he's willing to pay for.
And I agree, because remember when I started, I said that's one type of woman. Yeah. You just name another type of woman, because some women, they want that treatment even though they know that man is already married. So guess what? Their motto is, I'm going to take it whenever I can get it. If you got time to make me feel special, I don't mind sharing you with your wife. That's another type of woman.
So does that type of woman, and you're a woman, so I'm going to ask.
Yes, I am a woman. I was born a woman.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be sitting across.
Well, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I would know.
They got look the operations they give out today, man. Some of them you can't tell from what I heard.
Okay, but anyway, and we're back.
And we're back.
So why would a woman who wants those things choose a married man as opposed to the many single available men who could offer those same things to make them feel special, to do special things for them? So why would they choose the married man over single men who are willing to offer that and not have to split themselves?
You said many men that can offer that. You got to understand, we all know what the ratio is, and it becomes much higher when you drill it down to the black community. So it's a lot of women out here, they crave and want their own man. But when you look at the ratio, women to men, then the available men, and then you keep breaking that down to the lowest common denominator, for some women, that's very scarce. You say many, but when you look at a certain demographic of women, and we're talking specifically about women of color and black women. Let's stick to just the black woman. It's a lot going on when it comes to dating in the black community. It's a deficit. Right. So you have women, you know what? I'm going to take it however I can get it.
That all sounds good?
Yes.
But I ain't buying it.
Okay.
Because listen to what you're saying, right? So even considering, and yes, there's a deficit. There are more, according to the Census Bureau, there are more black women than there are black men in terms of that whole dating pool or what have you. But how are you still getting what you really need in terms of fulfillment? And you're going to say that the married man is going to be spending time with a single woman, and the single woman is not even going to be, focused on single black men because of some ratio or whatever. I don't know. For me, it just doesn't add up.
And I agree. And see, this is when psychology come into play, right? Because some of these women have gotten to a point where they have psyched themselves out to say, I am happy, I'm good. Because they have been in this situation for so long, they're willing to accept it. And they have gotten to a point where mentally they believe that. But when you really dig deep into it, they're not really satisfied, but that's what they choose to believe.
So I know someone. How can I say this? Because I don't want to. All right, so there's a person who has been a friend, a female, who's been a friend of my family, my family, for a very long time, and she has been the mistress of a gentleman who has been married to his wife for over 40 years. She's been his mistress for 30 years. Oh. And she has not seen anyone else. That's her share a ride. That's her man that she's sharing.
Did you say share a ride?
Yeah, that's right.
Not share a ride.
It's 2024.
Share a man.
Yeah, share a man, share a ride, whatever. But no, she's been committed to that half of him that spends time with her. But what she doesn't get, she doesn't wake up next to him on Christmas.
Right.
She doesn't wake up next to him on New Year's. She doesn't wake up next to him on her birthday or on his birthday. She doesn't celebrate the birthdays of any of his children with him. So when you say the conditioning,
yes, or
psyching themselves out or whatever, this particular individual that I personally know, and her decisions and all that are her decisions, but I'm just talking about observation. So just observing this for over the years. So I'm in my 50s and she's been seeing this man for more than half of my lifetime.
Right.
And committed. And so I guess that's where she has found her happiness.
But I believe it's twofold too, right? Because at this point, I think think when you start to getting to multiple years and then you're into the decades, that becomes your comfort zone.
Yeah.
That man becomes your comfort. You know him. So it's almost like, I'd rather stick to the devil that I know than to go out here. And again, looking at the dating pool the way it is today. So yes, in her mind, she may not have the perfect situation, but guess what? She's with a person that she's been with for decades. He's familiar to her. That's her comfort zone. So why even go out and attempt to even try to date when you don't even know what you're going to get? At least you know the devil that you already have. And I'm just saying, that's not my way of thinking, but that's how some women think.
Well, I don't know how much value at this point she would add to the dating pool anyway.
No, you know what?
I'm just being honest. It's not. I just don't know how much
Hey,
value.
black don't crack.
I'm not talking about cracking and none of that type of stuff. But I'm just saying I don't know how much value would be added to the dating pool at this point. But now also, I happen to personally know that things 30 years later are not what they were 20 years ago.
Right.
I mean, he knows you're there now. You're not going anywhere now.
You're not going nowhere.
So it can be far fewer of those trips, if any at all. Far fewer of those wine and dine nights.
That's true.
Because where you going? Where you going now?
Again, at this point,
after 15 years, after 20 years, where you going?
Right. So, like I said, at this point, that's her comfort zone. They're familiar with one another, and the older you get, the less you are inclined to really get back out there to date.
Absolutely.
So, at this point, it's like, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We've been rocking out this long. We just going to keep the train moving. But you said something, value, right?
Yeah.
So we hear all the time, and I guess I'm not saying this phrase was coined by Kevin Samuels, but the high value man, six figures.
Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
Yes. I know a lot of women was not too fond of Kevin Samuels, but I ain't gonna lie, I watch Kevin Samuels all the time. No. And I'm saying some of them women, they fell into his trap. They really did. But let's get back to the value, because we had a conversation not too long ago about what is a high value man. And a lot of women define a high value man based on his income. And I totally disagree with that.
I disagree as well.
I disagree because, again, you got to look at the man in his totality, right?
There's a lot of men out there making $300,000-$400,000 a year that's beating their wife's ass.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So my point is, you got to look at, okay, he may make six figures a year or more a year, $1 million. Let's even say a millionaire, but is he good to his family? How does he treat his wife? To your point, is he going home beating his girlfriend, or is he an alcoholic? Is he not taking care of his kids? Is he supportive? Is he a teammate? Is he a ride or die? So you have to look at the man in his totality, because to me, and I know some women, it's hard to find a man making six figures. To me, that's light work. Pretty much all my life, that's light work for a lot of women. And guess what? There's a lot of women making six figures too. So to a lot of women, that don't even mean much. So we're peeling back that onion, and we're looking at, as we went back, as we stated earlier, about the women that lead with their body. How's your heart? How's your mind? How's your spirit? How's your soul? How you treat other people?
Let me tell you something. I don't even subscribe to that six-figure stuff.
Yes.
Okay? I don't subscribe to that. I once, there was a time period that, I owned a couple of cell phone stores as one of my entrepreneurial endeavors. And when I first started, I was with AT&T. And AT&T, back in the day, they ran your credit to get a cell phone.
Right.
And so with me, the closest proximity to me in terms of occupation was a school district. And so I can tell you something. I would run the credit of principals, assistant principals, administrators, and they would have to do a $250 down payment deposit to get their phone service.
Right.
I would run applications on custodians, on cafeteria managers, making maybe a third or half the money. Excellent credit, right off the rip. Wow. Approved for 5 lines, right? When the credit is pulled, you see that they own a home that they've been living in for 15, 16 years.
Right.
Raised a family, sent children to school, It's about not the value of the money you make, but it's the value that you place on money and how you have it work for you and how you utilize it in your life and what your strategies are. Don't tell me that the custodian making $45,000 a year who takes extremely good care of his family, even if he's doing it together with his wife, and they're building and they're supporting one another. Don't tell me that he's not a high value man.
Right.
Because I would disagree. I would disagree.
Yeah.
But by the same token, somebody making $175,000 a year is at the bar every night with no less than $100 tab, running around with $80,000 to $100,000 car that when they pull up to the gas station, they putting $7, $8, $9, $10 worth of gas in it, behind on a bill, right? Because they have to
image.
They have to aesthetically, right, live this optical
Yes.
illusion.
Yes.
Right. But then when you start to peel back the layers, they are in fact making the 175, the 200 or what have you.
They're overextended.
But Lord rest his soul, my father used to always tell me it's not how much you make, it's how much you get to keep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So everything you see, the commonality throughout this whole show, aesthetics, optics, keeping up with the Joneses, if you will.
Yes.
So.
I'm glad I don't have that spirit.
Yes, me either. I'm so glad you
I'm
do not
I
have that
never
spirit.
Had the spirit of keeping up with the Joneses.
Me either.
I've never had the spirit of, hey, look at me, look what I have. I've never had the spirit of whatever you can do materially, I can do better. I can do better.
Yes.
So I thank the Lord. I've never had that spirit.
Right.
I've been chief. I roll how chief roll.
And I roll how Philly roll.
That's right.
And that's why we roll together.
That's why we roll together.
Yes, I really just wanted to touch base on like the crazy world of dating today. And, we got to do better.
And I want to say, I want to echo what you said in the beginning of the show, that I too am pleased and happy to be in a relationship, to be in a loving, caring relationship. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm happy that it ain't perfect. Because when people think that they live in a life of perfection,
no, man.
That first speed bump that you hit,
yeah, man.
You know what I mean, knocks all the china off the shelf.
That's
and you're
right.
trying to figure out what's going on. So it's good to have those speed bumps because really what they are, they're learning curves.
Absolutely.
And learning your mate. But I would not trade that for being out in a dating pool in 2024.
Yes.
Especially as a man in his mid 50s. I just wouldn't want to be out there. And I was out there for a long period of time. And I'm going to be honest. For some people, it's fun.
Yeah.
I can't say I had a lot of fun. I would have been lying. Yeah, I'm out here. I'm single. I'm single and having a lot of fun. That stuff ain't necessarily a lot of fun.
And for men, it can become very costly. Especially when you're dating multiple women.
There are,
and especially these women today.
There are a subset of black men in this country who are now increasingly looking abroad. Passport brothers.
Oh, yes.
These passport brothers that travel around the
Brazil,
world.
Punta Cana. Yeah. They're actually moving over there. Forget the passport. Yeah. They're moving over there.
I have a couple of guys I serve with in the military, and I have one I serve with in law enforcement who have permanently relocated abroad. Yes. And, it might start off as having the fun and the allure of having the option of different women and living in an environment where the cost of living is very bearable.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the things that they say that they're looking for, that they're finding in some of these women, that may be true. But I also think, to your point, they're still paying for it.
Yeah, that's a bartering system. Yeah. Let me tell you, I read an article in Essence years ago, and they talked about how more and more black men are going abroad to date, to marry, and literally to move. And you had, I think it was an attorney that went over, I don't know if it was Punta Cana or if it was Brazil, and he set up shop. He runs today a multi-million-dollar company where it's like a traveling agency.
Oh yeah, for the men, for the press. Yeah,
coming over, and but some of the things I don't agree. They say, you know, they go over there, the women are more servient, more what is it? What's the word? The Kevin Samuel. I'm drawing a blank.
Cooperative.
That's one of them. Cooperative.
I don't care where you go on earth. A man with
submissive.
a man loves a cooperative
Most
woman.
women they're more submissive. You know, they treat them like kings. And what you just said, yo, you going over to a country that's in dire needs. Most of these women, you know, are not as financially stable as a lot of these black women. So yes, to you, you're king. You're a king to them.
Yeah.
You're a lifesaver to them.
Yeah.
You know, you're the knight in shining armor. So of course they're going to be cooperative. They're going to be submissive. Because again, I'm looking at it and I'm gonna call it what it is. It's a bartering system.
Yeah.
Hey, you do for me, I do for you.
Yeah.
You make me feel like this, I'm gonna make you feel like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a game.
It is. It is. I don't think it's a game for all
Not
men.
for all, because some can, genuinely go over there, fall in love. But don't, at the end of the day, all I'm saying, don't belittle black women and go over there. Oh, I go there because they listen, they submissive, they do this, do that. But
is that
why
really,
is always a knock on the black woman?
But is that really belittling? Is that really a knock on? So I'm gonna tell you, a lot of women represent themselves without any man speaking.
Okay.
Just scroll up and down social media.
True.
And listen to some of the things that they're saying. Scroll up and down social media and see some of the things that they post on their timelines, right? That, I mean, quite frankly, reads very adversarial towards men. It ain't hard to find.
True.
It's not hard to find.
That
I ain't making
I
this
will
stuff
agree
up.
with, because I know a lot of women, especially, a certain age, seasoned woman, especially if you've been single for a long time. Some women do start to turn a little bitter towards men, or they get this attitude, there's nothing out here, it ain't nothing out here, I'm gonna stay single, I'm just gonna do me.
But you know
why
what?
do you,
a lot of them don't really mean that, because if you really
They
mean
don't.
that, you don't have to broadcast that.
and that's true, you just move.
You
just move like that.
And to me, that is really prohibiting you, because I believe in energy.
Well, you already
And
know I believe in energy.
And I believe in what you put out there.
Is what you
Right?
get back
It's
and what you
going to
attract.
return. So when you're doing that, it also prohibits you from making peace with your past. If you can't make peace with your past and you continue to harp on, and I mean, I have literally, you know how when you're scrolling, it gives you an option if you don't want to see this person's post anymore.
Yes.
Like I literally have clicked that little button, because I'm like, why is this person
So bitter.
always
Negative.
have some, but they think they're saying something positive. They think
Right.
they're saying something cute.
Right.
Y'all
And it's not.
men's this, or y'all men's, if you know what that means, if you know how this and all of that. So, and I'm gonna tell you, that's not no one-off. That's not no anomaly. Hey, we can sit together, babe, and we can scroll, and I can show you. And because see, what happens is the algorithms are different.
Right.
I'm probably gonna the first time I see 2 or 3 things like that, and I click to read it. Come on, that's
It's
in my
going to
algorithm.
continuously pop up
Right.
now. So back to your point though about energy, and I'm all about energy. I'm a firm believer. What you put out is what you attract and what you get back.
Right.
So, and another piece of that is you got to be open. Like you said, you got to learn to get over your past, forgive your past, accept your past, and keep it moving. Not only do you have to do that, you also have to be open. You have to be open. You gotta, because people pick up energy as well. You pick up energy. People pick up energy. So if you're not open to receive, then men or women are not going to approach you, because they feel that energy. They feel the vibe. You putting that vibe out in the world.
Yeah.
Even though, you may have a slight smile on your face, but you still closed up.
Yeah.
Body language is important too.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to, like you said, accept the past and be open to the future.
And understand that past experiences are not necessarily a prediction of future outcomes with a total
Absolutely.
different person.
Right.
And so, yes, I'm gonna be honest. Like for me, it's great being in a relationship because even when I'm out and about now, sometimes I'll hear women talk and they be like, you know, because you know how y'all men are.
Right. Yes.
You know, I hear that stuff frequently.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know, when I was single, the first thing I would get all the time, oh wow, you're attractive. Oh, you know, you got a great career. You're a homeowner. What's wrong with you? You crazy? I used to get that all the what's wrong with
or do you like
crazy?
women?
Yeah, are you gay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got that a couple times. Are you gay? You must be crazy. You know, and
Yeah, men
so
say
your
stuff
point.
like that.
Yeah, you said it
Men
too,
say
so.
stuff like that.
Men
Men will sometimes
something wrong with her.
men sometimes when they see a woman who, by all appearances, have her stuff together.
Right.
You know, not just a lot of times people confuse attractiveness with the physical body.
Right.
But it depends on the man, right? Are you pleasant?
Right.
Are you easy to talk to? Are you a good listener? You know, do you give off good energy?
Yes.
Right? Think of the word attraction. Those things attract. Attraction at its core really ain't got a damn thing to do with your face or your body at its core.
Right.
And so when you see a woman who has things together, an attractive personality, the bonus is an attractive appearance physically.
Right.
You know, well-spoken, you know, educated, whatever that might mean.
Right.
Career-oriented, goal-oriented. And then they tell you that they're single, and then they add to that they've been single for 3-4 years. Then I'm gonna be honest, it does draw a question mark. It does draw a question mark in a man's mind, right? If I'm just gonna be honest,
Right.
a man will, in his subconscious, say, "Okay, what's wrong here?
Right.
You know, what's wrong with her? You know, what's going on?" And it may be
where the body's at.
yeah, right. It may be, you know, nothing wrong, but then, and that's the you talk about psychology.
Yes.
That's the psychology of it. If you meet a woman and she got all that, and she said, "Yeah, me and my last boyfriend, you know, it didn't work out." Or when did y'all break up? Well, we broke up 8 months ago. How long were y'all together? We were together for about a year. Oh, okay, and then my boyfriend before him, yeah, we were together for 18 months. I'm telling you, dudes are more inclined to continue holding court with that sister without any other thought or reservation in the back of their mind. Because one thing they know, well, damn, you have at least made yourself marketable, or you have been accepting to going into a relationship. You've been open. But the sister that's got all of that same stuff and telling you she ain't been in a relationship in 5 or 6 years, it draws a question mark.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you why it draws the question mark.
Why?
I know daggone well you've met men in the last 5 or 6 years. And if you ain't met one that is giving you some inkling of motivation to try a relationship, then what I'm going to say to myself, formulate myself, if I'm realistic, what the hell is it about me that's going to move you off that square?
So let me say you this, as a woman who has been that woman who has, who was single for multiple years. For me, and I said this on I believe our first podcast. For me, sometimes women, I think more so than men, and it could be men too. I can only speak for from a woman's perspective. Sometimes we just work on ourselves. We take a pause. You know what I'm saying? We take a pause and we work on ourselves spiritually, mentally, professionally, physically. And if you're a mom, if you're a single mom, you know, you pour into your kids, or you really just pour into yourself. You know, we take that space to grow, to learn, to evolve. And then at the same time, hey, we may not want a full-fledged relationship. So some women compartmentalize. Not that we haven't met great men. We don't have access to great men. Maybe we're not ready to go into a full-fledged relationship. So we compartmentalize our relationships or friendships or situationships, however you want to call it, with men. You may have a man like, hey, you know, let me call Derek. You know, that's my homeboy. Let's go out. Let's listen to this live band. Nothing physical, you know. And then you may have a dude, you know, hey, whenever you need something fixed in your home, come over, whatever. So it's not like we don't meet men, but a smart woman know if I'm not there yet, if I'm not there, I still have work to do with myself. Then I'm not going to put myself through there, or I'm not going to put another person through that until I know I'm ready.
That's respectable.
For that full-fledged relationship.
That's respectable. And you're not going to be spending your time in that gap, in that period of time of being critical of men just because you've made that decision.
Absolutely
You're
not.
not going to fill that time, putting posts up and down social media.
No, because I'm working on me. I'm
Right.
working on Philly Cigar Joint.
Right.
I'm evolving and I'm growing and learning and with myself.
Yes.
So when I do meet him, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And a lot of that has to do with timing. You could have met the right guy, but I'm still working on some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to put myself.
Timing is everything.
Yes, it is. Like when
timing.
we met.
Yeah, timing.
That
is
was
everything.
timing.
That was definitely timing.
Okay.
That was definitely timing. Because neither one of us were searching for a relationship. Neither one of us. I mean, we've had these conversations intimately. Neither one of us was out there looking for love.
Right.
I
was out there that night chilling with my girls. Hey, Olga. Hey, Rob. We going in having a nice little cigar. We kikiing it up. We laughing. Nobody was on a hunt that night.
No.
None of us.
I was on a date the week before we met.
Right. So it's not like listen, I'm a firm believer again with energy and what you put out and just the connection. So when it's meant to happen, it will happen.
It will.
And what is that saying? And it normally happens when you least expect it to happen.
Expect it.
So,
yeah. And when you're not searching.
Right.
I don't know anybody. I don't personally know. Maybe the audience does. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody who's close to me who's ever been searching for that right situation.
Right.
That found it.
Right. Right.
When they are really physically searching, and maybe some people do, but I think that if you just maintain faith in knowing what you want,
right,
and you're putting out into the universe what you want,
that's what you do,
and what you desire,
yes, and
whenever that occurs, whenever that happens, right. If you're still here, blessed and fortunate enough to be alive and experience that, like I have had the opportunity to experience in our relationship, right, and I'm just so thankful for our relationship for a lot of different reasons, just a lot of different reasons. Yeah. And it has definitely allowed me to experience things that I have never experienced in a relationship. So I'm thankful that I met you. So I only use my passport to travel with you.
And that's what you better do. Okay. Now don't let this other Gemini come out.
I will not.
Here. Okay.
I will not let that Gemini.
So let's talk about that though, because some people had this notion. you know where I'm ready to go. PFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had this running joke between us. I say, okay, to go to that PFC. Perfect fake couple.
Yeah.
People think, I bet you they never argue. Y'all so perfect. Oh, no, we not. No, we not.
No.
And we will never put that false narrative out there.
No.
Because trust and believe, we have our disagreements.
But we also know how to handle ourselves in the midst of disagreement.
Absolutely.
If we're in public.
Yes.
And how we conduct ourselves in the midst of disagreement when we're not. But the one thing is I love the fact that we maintain a level of respect.
Absolutely.
Through any disagreement that we have, because that's important.
Yeah, we're going to have that united front. That's
important. Even, out front or behind. I haven't always had that. I've been in situations before. I mean, I'm talking about with people I love and the whole nine, and stuff just got disrespectful.
Right.
Downright disrespectful.
No.
And you can't take those words back.
Nope.
So those were lessons learned for me. I mean, I was guilty of that.
Same here.
I was guilty of that.
Been there, done that.
I was guilty, of getting into a real knockout, drag down, whatever, and then I don't know, maybe a couple hours go by.
Verbal lashing.
Yeah, I'm in my car and I'm like, man, should I really have said that?
Right. I think we all been there. And see, that takes me back to working on thyself.
Yeah.
I know, because I worked on a lot of stuff when I was single. Because I'm going to tell you, 10 years ago, yeah, we would have been in the back, in the ring, verbal lashing. each other. My tongue is fierce when I'm angry.
Yes.
When I used to be angry. So, now you got to pause. You got to think before you speak. Because to your point, once those words are out in the universe, you can't bring them back. You can apologize for it, but they're out there now. So I agree with that. It's how you resolve your issues, right?
Absolutely. So. And look, we ain't talking like we know relationship experts or nothing like that. We just talking about our relationship. We just talking about our stuff.
Now,
right?
You can take from it whatever you like, but we can only speak for what we represent to each other.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can, hopefully someone who is watching can take from our relationship or the things that we said about our relationship and apply it to their relationship or future relationships, or even talking about being a single woman, being a single man, so you can take some jewels from this conversation. But again, we can only speak on what we know.
Yeah.
And what we experience.
If I could give any advice from experience to couples out there, because, we've been out and we've seen couples that clearly are at each other's throat. No matter how, inconspicuous they may try, to make it, like when they straight. And this, I'm not saying that a couple can be out and they
have a disagreement.
And they see a disagreement. Somebody see that they have a disagreement. That's different than you looking at two people that look like they ready to strangle each other. Right. Or, somebody just jumps up and storms out and walks away or what have you. Right. And that's emotional based. Right. So I'm thankful that my emotional
intelligence.
Yeah, that quotient is much higher than it used to be. Right. Because at the end of the day, if you're staying together and you're going to be together, how those things play out have an impact on the back end. I agree. So I would just say, respect yourself, respect your mate. And if it's that pressing, I tell you, I always know when she wants to have a conversation. But I'm gonna give you credit. You definitely preserve the time. Your timing is good when you want to confront me about something that has totally gotten under your skin or something that has drawn a question mark for you.
I have grown a lot over the years.
Here's what she'll do. She might say, no, she will say, so Chief, the minute she says that, the minute I hear that tone, that inflection, and that level, I already know.
That is so funny because my son says the same thing. So when I say, so Jordan, oh man, I don't know. I don't like where this going. I don't like when you say that.
I'm going to be honest. Whenever you say that to me, I get butterflies. But the good thing is, even some of the most difficult conversations that we've had, the takeaway for me is there have been things where they happened 2 days prior, a day prior. They might even happen a week prior. Some people would say, well, why are you bringing that up now? But here's what I appreciate. There's a reason why you don't bring some things up when you're at the height of emotion. Yep. When you're at the height of how this thing may be impacting your psyche. Right. And so for you to get the best version of the conversation, for you to get the best version of the resolution in a de-escalated way instead of escalating it at that time is based on the timing. Right. And so I appreciate that. And I've learned from you on that, because I used to be like, oh, hell no, we going to address this now. And sometimes people be like, well, I don't want to talk about it, and then some people can be very forceful. Right. I used to be that guy. Right. Oh, hell no, we talking about this right now. Why we got to talk about it later? Right. I appreciate the value and the timing of certain communication and being able to fully allow the messenger and the receiver to be able to communicate and get to the resolution. Absolutely. And to find a place where you might have self-reflection and say, damn, you know what, she's right. Whether that was intentional or unintentional, let's work on the toning and resolving that issue.
I totally agree. So hopefully you had your notepad out and your pens and took a little bit of that great advice. And I think that's an excellent way to end the show today.
Absolutely.
So until next time, take care.